Smaller, fuel-efficient cars may be powering sales growth at companies like Ford, but the real rumble in the auto industry is coming from the luxury segment. BMW, Audi, Daimler, Porsche, they're all roaring ahead thanks to a spending rebound here in the U.S. and the multiplying number of millionaires in China. Here this morning is Jason Harper. He writes a weekly column about exotic cars and luxury travel for Bloomberg News. Jason, welcome. This may not exactly be rich Corinthian leather, but I hope you'll be comfortable enough. Let's talk about what's happening in luxury cars, because our attention is focused these days on Ford and General Motors, which reports this morning. But really, they can't approach the kind of performance you're seeing at companies like BMW.
Well, here's the thing. When you're talking about luxury cars, you're not talking about a need anymore. You know, you're absolutely talking about a want. And when you have this kind of disposable income, it's, you know, what kind of person am I? What do I want to represent to the world? So am I a Porsche person? You know, am I a Lexus guy? So what's really interesting is China has that, you know, that money right now, and they are getting to choose their sort of auto personalities now. So. And
what kinds of cars are the Chinese gravitating towards?
Well, you know, traditionally, it's really been the Chinese like to be driven, not drive. So there's a reason that Buick had done so well for years, considered a luxury marquee there, was that, you know, there was plenty of room in the back. Well, I think that is still happens, but I think it's changing. Something like the Lamborghini Aventador, which is going to be Lamborghini's new $380,000 like flagship. It's a beautiful, very sexy car. Now this only fits two, and you better not be a big person. So they're only making 750 of them a year, and a third of those will go to pretty much China.
I think this is the Lamborghini here.
It is.
So what's the deal then? More Chinese are interested in driving themselves than being driven around in the back of a Buick or perhaps a Mercedes.
Yeah, I think a few years ago they said, Lamborghini said, you know, they just sold a handful of these cars. Now you look at this beautiful piece of machinery, and you know, it's going to be very high demand. And Lamborghini, as X told me the other day, you know, hey, it's a big market for them. You know, suddenly there's better roads you can actually drive these cars on, but you know, they get that want.
Is it the European cars that are gaining the most traction in China? Because you don't have to go far, obviously, to get to Japan, and there are a couple of luxury marks there, Infiniti, Lexus, etc. Yeah. How are they doing relative to the Europeans?
Well, obviously BMW, you know, they've just gone blockbuster this part, and that's because of, you know, it's very much because of the Chinese market, you know, and the 5 Series and the 7 Series are big sellers over there. The 7 is that traditional big luxury sedan that's beautiful in the back. It's gorgeous to sit in.
And they have that extended cab.
And they have it's a long wheelbase, and it's a great car to be in. Also, Audi A8, you know, they've come out with a new A8 model, and it is a beautiful. Here's a 7 Series.
That's the Bimmer.
Yeah,
right.
And their competitor is Audi, which has also done a great job of focusing. And here it is, focusing on the desire, the wants. The interior of this cockpit is just sublime. The Audi A8 is like your second living room. It's a good place to be. You know, you're stuck in Beijing traffic for 4 hours. I'd rather be in the A8 than, you know, certainly the Lamborghini.
There were a few years there, and they weren't so long ago, that it was gauche, shall we say, to be buying a car like that in the U.S. market, given what was happening to the American economy. Now that we have seen it pick up, okay, it's not roaring back. Do you sense from the people you talk to, the dealers that you talk to, that it's okay once again to buy a big, flashy, splashy car?
Oh, I think it's back. I think it's absolutely back. You know, I don't think those people didn't have the money. They just were holding off, and now that, you know, they put those desires away, and now they very much come back. And also drove the new Ferrari FF recently, which has got 4 seats in it. You know, buyers are crazy for this kind of car.
Not quite the Panamera, right? It's still a 2-door, but with 4 seats.
It's a 2-door, but it's 4 seats, and you're actually pretty comfortable. But, you know, and Panamera, the Porsche, was very much created with the Chinese market in mind, because
you know, how are the automakers more and more beginning to tailor cars specifically to some of those fast-growing luxury markets? It was just recently that we saw, I think it was a Porsche that was building a Cayenne specifically for the Russian market.
Yeah.
Is that happening more and more?
It is. Actually, Lamborghini people were telling me the other day they do a special couple Lamborghinis especially for the Chinese market, sort of special editions. So, you know, they have their eye on their prize. They know. And, you know, they're not fools.
All right, well, we'll be, I mean, you just can't resist this stuff. This morning, our focus will be on General Motors, which really isn't in the luxury segment at all, is it?
No, but they're doing great.
Like Cadillac.
The thing is, I get in hundreds of cars a year, you know, and you tell very quickly what you want to be inside and what you don't. And GM, there's a good reason that GM's doing well, is because I'm happy to get inside these cars again, you know? And that really is, I think sometimes we forget that the marketplace and what they're selling are connected, you know, and these are how much do you want to be inside these
You
particular
enjoy
cars?
driving a GM car for the first time in how long?
It had been years. It had been years. Both Ford and I hadn't written about a Ford for years because there were so few that I really enjoyed. And both of these car makers now, you get in and they're tactile, they drive well. You get a sense that there's somebody's behind the wheel before you were, and they were paying attention to what you're going to want.
So you might actually take an interest in something other than the Corvette or other than the Cadillac.
Absolutely. You know, anything from Ford Fiesta to, you know, even the new